I'm going to very briefly, in my quick 8 minutes, which I'm going to stick to, give you a brief introduction to a project that community-supported film did called New Immigrant and Refugee Visions, and also then take a few minutes to introduce you to a project that you might try doing with your students, an awareness-building video exercise. And we'll be giving you resources for each one of these things. But just to get it started, just so you understand, community-supported film, I come from a documentary film background and have worked mostly around issues of economic and social development, mostly in Africa and Asia, through the development of my career. And very early on, I realized that my industry, the media industry, is a very top-down colonial industry that is still being dominated by messengers from the West, like myself, frankly. And early on, my projects, I realized that I needed to think about how did I involve the very good and very capable folks that were living the stories that I was being asked to go and tell the stories themselves. And so community-supported film came out of that. And we've done a number of projects that really work on amplifying the voices and perspectives of peoples whose issues really need to be understood from the local perspective. Whether or not that is in Afghanistan during the US war, voices and perspectives of Afghans, or in Haiti, 5 years after the earthquake, Haitian perspectives, films made by them. Or in this case, what we'll be talking about today is New Immigrants and Refugee Visions, which is 10 short films that were made by and about immigrants and refugees. So in light and in the spirit of the philosophy, rather than me talking about the project, I'm going to share my screen and let the filmmakers explain the project to you and introduce it to you as they have done in this very short video.
The films you're about to watch were made by and about new immigrants and refugees in the United States.
We made these films because we believe in the power of documentary storytelling to affect public opinion and policy.
We want the national debate about immigrants and immigration to be informed by the experiences and voices of new immigrants and refugees.
We have to find the story. What is it? That's your research.
Most of us came to this project with experience in some form of storytelling, but few of us had done any filmmaking.
Community-supported film provided training and mentored us through the process of finding a story and filming it.
Experienced editors worked with us on the post-production.
I think as a scene, it works by itself that way.
Community-supported film's mission is to amplify local voices in under or misrepresented communities so that they can effectively communicate their lived reality through documentary filmmaking.
Our projects focus on people, places, and situations, be they in Afghanistan, Haiti, or the United States, that we hear a lot about in the news, but seldom understand from the local perspective.
Our films are designed to be the starting point for discussion.
I'm curious why the filmmakers think that immigration becomes such a contentious point in society and why we default to hate or division.
I think the biggest thing that would be helpful in turning a page in how much hate is being spread around this world is really just talking.
We immigrants, we came to contribute to this country.
Please take advantage of the discussion guides and questions that you have been provided with, or which you can access from Community Supported Films website.
While there, please donate. This work depends on your support.
While watching our films, please keep in mind questions like,
What in our films reminds you of things or experiences in your own life? Or conversely, what feels unfamiliar, new, or surprising?
I don't remember these kids.
Those are your cousins from your father's side.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Some describe the United States as a melting pot, where all ingredients become one, and others as a salad bowl, which all ingredients remain distinct. Do you want our subjects to melt or remain distinct?
1, 2, 3, push with your legs up.
Can you imagine our subjects being misunderstood, stereotyped, or attacked for what they look like or where they come from?
What actions should we take to address these misunderstandings or confrontations?
Thanks for watching.
We hope that our subject stories create a strong and lasting impression.
So these 10 films, these 10 short films are available, and we'd like to have you think about how you could use them in your communities, in your classroom. They are really experiential films and help you help students, and we're using them across the country in all different environments, but help people be able to cross-relate between cultures, both those born in the U.S. and those not born in the U.S. and those between immigrant cultures. They create a lot of parallels, and they create a lot of understanding and just stimulate discussion. And in line with that, I'll be sharing with you the discussion guide that we've created, which helps, as the filmmakers presented in the film, lead the discussion. You know, the filmmakers have designed questions for their films they'd like people to think about while watching them, and then to use for the discussion. Many people use them in 1 to 1.5 hour events, selecting 2 or 3 of the films by theme. On our website, there are themes laid out. And again, I'll be providing links in the chat, and we'll get information to you about that. And you know, you can be directly in touch with me through the contact information that'll be provided to learn more and to discuss how to put those films to use. Next, I'd like to talk about the awareness building video exercise. I really want to just provide you a very hands-on tool that we use in workshops, and we provide community-supported film workshops for folks about how to use video as a tool for engagement, how to use it as a tool for personal storytelling and empowerment. And the exercise that, again, I'll put a link to is very, very basic, but it emphasizes the experiential over the talk. It really tries to get people to use even the simplest equipment to film and videotape experiences within their own cultural world, their own backgrounds, that they can then share in an environment that will open up other people's understanding and create opportunities for discussion. So the idea of the project is it's very simple, nothing too magical. Frankly, you select somebody outside your own cultural background, in your neighborhood, in your school, and you film them doing one activity that is specific to their ethnic, cultural, historic background. It might be, and you know, could be a cooking activity. Obviously, food is very important to many cultural identities, but also, of course, music, art, craft, dance. Those activities offer an opportunity to create parallels and understanding. And after that, then you use that activity as a tool for interviewing the subject about their experience, through the experience of what they're doing, expanding the story about where they're coming from, what their background is, and how we can understand more about their contemporary experience as well. And these films, and again, in the instructions laid out some very basic tools for both doing it, whether or not with a phone, or maybe your school has some video equipment, or maybe you can collaborate, as I worked with some communities with, and collaborating with the cable access station. But these films can be raw. You know, we introduced some basic video tools, but they can be very raw. The important thing is to open up an avenue of seeing into experiences that we may not be able to really appreciate through simple conversation and the like. I know, you know, we want to really have opportunity for conversation, so I'm in fact going to leave it at that. I'm going to post in the chat some of these resources, and look forward to any questions and ideas that you may have.